Shalom, shalom. As we come together this hour, let us bow before our King and let us recite this together. May the utterance of my mouth and the deliberation of my heart be desirable for you. Oh Yahuwah, my rock and my redeemer. May the utterance of my mouth and the deliberation of my heart be seated in his presence as we go forward on this Layla. I pray thus far that you have had an awesome time in Shabbat, because we are still in the Shabbat. It is not over with yet. And so we appreciate the hour before. Ask that you forgive us for our delay. We had some things that we had to deal with. You know, we didn't have to break the Sabbath, but there were some things that we had to deal with before we got online. So I appreciate the hour before what he's doing. All right, we're going to get right into our lesson. Excuse me. And we're back. Unmasking the End Time Beast. And we are looking at Daughter of Babylon. And we're coming to the close of that. And we're going to go into another section, but not to Layla. I wanted to go back over this because I wanted to make sure that we have a greater understanding of this, what we spoke on last Sabbath. And we are talking about the sons or the princes of, excuse me, find in Bereshit chapter 25, verses 12 through 18. Let's go there real quick. And once again, this is to clarify and to bring us to a place of understanding that he is the Pope and many other things. But in order to truly substantiate and know who and what group of people are going to support the anti-Mashiach, we've got to take it to the writings. Mm-hmm. And in finding it in the but that we are able to take those verses, make them collaborate, not make them, in other words, we twist them to make them work, but we put them together so that there will be a collaboration and there will be proof as well as evidence to support our case, and that what we see in the writings as the anti-Mashiach being Muslim. Mm-hmm. And so it is important that we read and that we read with an understanding. This is so important. Why? Because many times we read, and we have heard people read without an understanding. And so if we read and we miss, excuse me, that, then what happens is we end up finding ourselves, we see to interpret it, and this is how we push it forward. Now, the issue that comes with that is if we are interpreting it from our own understanding, then now we're going to interpret it wrong. Especially if our understanding is tainted. If our context is wrong, then our conclusion is going to be wrong. So we want to make sure that our context is right so that our conclusion will also follow suit. And the only way that can happen is that we've got to have evidence as well as proof to provide a substantial amount of evidence so that we can continue to stand on our claim and present it not just from our own understanding, but from what the writings has presented to us to present to you. And so we're going to look at, once again, look at Bereshit, which is Genesis chapter 25. We're going to look at verses 12 through 18. Now we're going back to these pages to trace some more answers for the origins of the Islamic, Roman Catholics, but they have an origin, and their origin is in the writings, and that's what we're going to see in chapter 20 of Bereshit. And we're going to begin with verse 12, and we're going to read all the way to verse 18. And so we're going to have each person take 3, and we're going to begin over here with Mattathias, our elder.
Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, who Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebaioth, and Kedar, and Abdiel, and Mibosam.
To come, you get all of this. Okay.
And Mishnah, and Duma, and Matsah, Hadar, and Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedma. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's finish reading.
Verse 16. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their villages and by their encampments. 12 chieftains of as many tribes. These were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. Then he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his kin. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's read verse 18. Mm-hmm. You gotta use basically two Bibles.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur, that is before Mitzrayim, as thou goest towards Assyria. And he died in the presence of all his brethren. And it is so.
And it is so. All right. Now, someone would ask, well, why is this important? It is important because knowing is half the battle. If you know where the anti-Mashiach is going to come from and where he is going to rear himself, then this is a very important, because then we know how to prepare ourselves. The writings never say that we're not supposed to prepare ourselves. If you know a thing, then you will be better prepared. And so it is imperative that we understand that if it was a secret, that the Abba would not have given us a outline and a platform to follow to know where the anti-Mashiach would come from. This is important, just like he gave us an outline to the lineage of the Mashiach. It is important. Once again, evidence and proof are very important when you are proving a case. And so this is what is important. Now, these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar, the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaiden, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Israel by their names according to their generations. We were brought up, when I was brought up in Christianity, many times we would overlook the genealogy. We would overlook certain names. Why? Because at that time, because we were actually teaching and preaching a false doctrine, we didn't need those lineages. But now, because we're in truth, and these lineages are connected to a people or a person, it is important to know the lineage. It is important to know the history and the bloodline to these people. Without knowing this, once again, you have no evidence, and you have no evidence. Without proof, you have no case. But when you have both of them, you have our code of conduct from. This is where we pull our standard from. And so this is important that we understand. Ishmael is Naboth and Kedar. Now we're going to stop right there, because I want us to go to, I want you to put your finger on Tehillim, which is Psalms 120. And while you're getting there, I want to read this to you. There are a few things that we need to see concerning the verses above that we read in Bereshit chapter 25, verses 12 through 18. Number one, Ishmael was born through an Egyptian woman. Number two, Ishmael had 12 sons, 12 princes. These 12 princes became nations. They became nations. And many times we don't know how to place them, because we're always basically many times and the impact that they have now. So it's important that we see this. Now, once again, these 12 princes became nations. They occupied parts of Mitzrayim, Syria, modern Iraq and Syria, and southern parts of Jordan and Arabia. So that tells me that these people are still yet alive, because we can research this landmass or these places, and there are people that are occupying it. So who do you think lives there? These people live there. Are y'all following me? All right. Now, Yahuwah said 20. 120. Now, Bereshit chapter 17, and let's look at verse 20.
And it is so.
So,
It is so.
All right.
Bereshit chapter 17, verse 20 reads,
As for Ishmael, I have heard your request. I will baruch him and make him fertile, and give him many descendants, who will be the ancestors of 12 tribal leaders, and I will make a great nation of him.
Now, it's important that we understand this. Why is it important? Because the Abba established him. Now, because he established him, not mean that he gave him an inheritance. Established with Isaac, whom Sarah is to bear to you at this time, at this set time next year. And when he had ended speaking with him, power went up from Abraham, and Abraham took Ishmael, his son, and all those born in his house, and all those bought with silver, his silver, and every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin that same yom, as power told him. Now that's important to understand, that he did all of that because they were a part of his household. So it was important that this would be followed out, to be circumcised, because this is what the Abba told Abraham to do concerning his covenant. Are y'all following me? To remember is that the Abba said that he would make him a great nation, but he never said that he would give him a part of the covenant. But he still had to circumcise him because he was his son. Exactly. The Baruch, or the blessing, is with Isaac. Now, this is what is really important now. I have seen where some Hebrews, and it's that many times mean well, but to a fault. You cannot establish covenant with Ishmael, because many of them have tried to establish a covenant. Because we are from the same Abba, then we have a right to fellowship. Y'all, that is so wrong. That is wrong. You have to understand what the Abba didn't allow then. Why are we and who are we to try to make it now? That is not our place. And though we may be from the same path, it does not mean that we're going to be on the same path. Ishmael had his path and has his path. So does Isaac and his 12 sons. Are y'all following me? I mean, Yaakov. I'm sorry, Yaakov. Now, the importance of understanding, not once again reestablish or try to establish a covenant. You cannot do it. And I have seen many of them that says, well, Ishmael is our brother, so we have a right to have him a part of this covenant. Abba Yahuwah wouldn't do it even when Abraham asked him to.
That's right.
He said, no. He said, I will not. He said, the covenant is with Isaac. Are y'all hearing? We cannot change that. We cannot change that, and we're not supposed to try to change that. But many times you have brothers that are trying to do it. They're saying, well, we are kinfolk, so we might as well go ahead on and join together. Y'all, let's look at this. He says, now, as for Ishmael, verse 5, him exceedingly, 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. Yahuwah said he will baruch Ishmael and make him a great. The Arabs today are truly baruch and are a great nation, just like Yahuwah said they would be. They have plenty of oil and wealth. This is part of the material blessing promised to them, and it is Yahuwah who gave them these blessings. They did not acquire them with their own strength. Neither was out of Babylon who gave them these blessings. It was not. It was Abba Yahuwah. But you have to understand, Abba Yahuwah has a way that is so sweet about him. Now, this was Abraham's son, so you have to understand, he would not make him impoverished because he is Abraham's son. And that would really go against covenant. And through Abraham, what? All nations which are a part of him will be baruched. Not anybody else's seed will be baruched through him. So it's important that we understand that. And this is another thing. We cannot keep trying to bring foreigners, take other nations, the nations that are covenant when they are not, and try to give them the Baruch when we cannot. It is not within our power to do so. We are recipients of the blessing. We don't give it out. And this is where we get into trouble, because now we are in a position which we are not supposed to. It's just like going into a store. And this is the thing. When you go into the store, you're not the owner of the store just because you could go in there and buy everything out of there. That still doesn't give you the right to go in and now start trying to tell people or trying to give there. Where an issue comes in, because let's understand, with that great Baruch, they have a great responsibility and they have a mission, and they're going to fulfill that mission. Read one world government into the text when we find no such reference. No such reference. I've been saying this for a number of years. Many times you hear people say, well, they're shooting for a one world government. Show me are y'all following me?
Yeah.
I understand the writing said that people would not be able to buy or sell unless they took the mark of the beast. Y'all follow me? That's important for us to understand. The government, what government? The reason why the anti-Mashiach is going to have an opportunity to step in place is because a champion, listen to what I'm saying, a people's champion, and fix everything. Are y'all follow me? All right, let's do this. Let's go to Revelations real quick, chapter 13. Listen. All right, chapter 13. Let's see. Okay. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at verse 13. Let's go to 16. All right. Now, on the average, because of those signs which he was given to, wounded by the sword, yet live, not worship the image of the beast. And he causes all, both small and foreheads, and that no one is able to buy except he that has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is the wisdom. He who has understanding, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, even we're going to now, this is the point here. We see a system, but we don't see a one world government. Are y'all following me? This is a system that is going to come into place. Why? Because the government is going to collapse.
Right.
And in order to buy or sell, this person or these people are going to be in position. And you have to understand, when it says give to the Ruach, image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause to be killed as many as would not be. And he causes all, both small and great, and rich and poor, free and or upon their foreheads. And it goes on, and that no one should be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now you got to understand, that's a system. This is a system that is being created. Take the mark are going to die, but there are going to be those that will willingly take it because of the signs that are going to follow, which is going to cause them to fall in love with the beast and accept the mark and be able to walk and do true. Like, no, I'm not going to aspire to that. That's a system that is going to be created. And so it's important that we understand. The writings tell us, cause, and there will be given to him. Now listen again. Now let's understand. And he causes to be killed as many as would not worship thee, to be given a mark upon their right hand or upon their forehead. No, many of them are not us that know better. There's no amount of forcing that you can put upon us that will make us turn around and uh, be forced to take the mark.
Yeah.
We will not. We will not jeopardize our relationship nor throw away our relationship with the Abba just to eat or to survive. Are you following me? So it's important that we understand, once again, we need to stop reading into the text a one world God. There is no reference for it. No reference for it whatsoever. Now, let us look at Tehillim, which is Psalms 120, which speaks about these people of the temple by Hezekiah, wrote many Psalms 8, verses 10 through 20. Let's look at 10 through. Everybody read. Everybody can read one. Elder, you read 2 for me.
I said in the cutting off of my days, I shall go to the gates of the grave. I am dead, I shall not see Yahuwah, even the power, in the land of the living. I shall behold man no more with the inhabitants of the world. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's read 10. Now listen to his words.
Like a swallow, I chirp. I moan like himself has acted. I will wander my whole life with a bitter ruach. And it is so.
And it is so. All right, let's read.
Cast all my sins behind your back. The underworld can't thank you.
Did you read? I'm sorry, Tim, did you read verse 16? Yeah. Okay. 16.
Who gives life to the spirit. Look, he indeed exchanged my bitterness for wholeness.
Go ahead, finish reading the rest of it.
Which
So, all right, 18. And go ahead and read 20.
For the grave does not thank you, nor death praise you. Those who go down to the pit do not watch for your truth.
Mhm.
The living, he is praising you. A father makes known your truth to his children. Verse 20. Yahuwah come to save you. It is so.
And it is so. Now, once again, he wrote many of the Psalms and Proverbs. Yashiyah 38 verses 10 through 20 shows us that. He restored the temple worship. We can see that in 2nd Chronicles, Melachim, Bet, chapter 18. And let's look at verses 5 and 6. I would say read Chronicles chapter 29, 2nd Chronicles chapter 25 and 6. Once again, this is a song of decrees. So when we read Psalms or Tehillim 120,